Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Motorsport Manager, and this is week 15 of competition. It's a lower league manager series with the season 2017 Formula One mod in use. See, that's why most of the drivers have their real life picks, and this is a non-qualifying series, GP3 as it's called in this mod. And as a result, as we are the worst team on the grid, we're going to start right from the front. However, our last race was pretty solid. In the last race, there were some things that went our way. For one, there were 3 crashes during the course of the race, so 3 DNFs that helped boost us up a few positions. Plus, there were a handful of drivers that needed extra pit stops, and so that bumped us up a few places. And then one of those 3 crashes came with 9 laps to go, and we had 9 laps of fuel on board. Both cars came into pit, and a few drivers did not, so they had to pit last minute. That's what got us ahead of them. But then a number of other drivers put on tires that weren't really good for 9 laps. They put on super softs while we had softs. Our softs made it to the end, and on the last lap, we passed probably 5 or 6 cars and ended up finishing, I believe it was 8th and 9th. In the grid, with Quinn actually just a half second ahead of Arendt. So solid finish there. Great standings. We earned more points in that race than we had in 3+ races into the season. So great finish there. And we've got some new parts on board now, and some more exciting news. Arendt's car, for the first time since I've started this series here late in Season 3, Arendt's car was, quality-wise, no longer 19th and 20th. It was 18th and 20th. So our car, our number 1 car, is now slightly better than somebody else's worst car. And you can see that we are now into lap number 3, now an introduction into the race itself. We are picking up some knowledge that I was aware of, that we were going to come into some rain. It's pretty heavy rain, actually. And it's only going to take, 3 laps to go from damp to full wet. So what we've done was, knowing what we were coming into at the start of this race. Oh boy, look how much slower we are all of a sudden. We've already got 5 cars on full wets. So they have already pit in. I have not pit at all yet. I figured it would be lap 4 or 5 where I'd be pitting. And it's still just damp, but this probably is the lap that we need to come in. Arendt is ahead. And what's the gap? 2.4 seconds. If we had about a 10-second gap, I'd say pit them both. But that is not the case. So, what to do? Well, there's some serious time to the back, those that have already pit. So, them being on wets is bad. Maybe I should pit Quinn this lap and let Arendt run one more lap. How wet is it gonna get by the next lap? Not that bad. Yeah, not that bad. So Arendt's gonna, maybe both of them should stay out one more lap, because we're gonna go to full wets, and right now we're not going to lose any time yet. We'll start to lose time once it gets wet, but the full wets are going to not be any better. But I don't want to be pitting both at the same time. Let's go ahead and bring Quinn in. Put those full wets on. Okay, get you filled up. 11-second stop. Okay, so Quinn's gonna come in right about now. Number of other cars coming in at the same time. So Aaron just lost one spot on the grid, but otherwise, look at all that time. Look at the time gap. So it's probably a good thing. Alright, now we don't want to run. We're going to be on these wets for a while, presumably. And there we go. Quinn is second of all the cars that have already pit and is still ahead. Meanwhile, Aaron, let's go focus on you. Oh boy, your tires. Conserve. Definitely going to pit this time because those tires aren't going to make it. We're also going to need to use our ERS before that totally fills up. So we're going to go straight to full wets. We are going to fill you up. And normal balance strategy, we don't want to run the risk. Alright, coming around this bend, and here we go. ERS is active. Look at that huge boost to get up to the field. And Aaron's into the pit lane. We need to time this for Quinn also. Pick up that boost. Quinn's losing some time out there. Oh, mistake on the right rear, even though we did not run any risk. There we go. Look at Quinn. Look at that time. Woo! We just flew past that car. That ERS makes a huge difference on this track. And look at all those cars that Quinn just flew by to get back right on the tail end of Aaron, who is... Let's get this set up right. There we go. So, both cars are running 7th and 8th after the first sequence, which the first sequence stopped short thanks to rain. Everybody's on full wets. It looks like the rain will continue and it will begin to let up around lap number 10. Here comes all those cars catching up to Quinn now. Aaron, this is where that huge boost is, so go, go, go. Meanwhile, Quinn just had a whole pack of cars go by. Looks like normal is actually going to have the tires cool thanks to the rain. So we can run a bit hard. And it looks like the sun will come out. So the track is going to dry out and dry out pretty quick around lap 11 or 12. So it looks like we might be switching back around lap 12. And we might try to go to the end. All right, Quinn, you don't have a lot, but it's time. Turn up that pace. Turn up that pace. Oh, you couldn't get past him. Should have flown right past Martin's car there. Alright, well, based on what's going to happen fuel-wise, these both should go into a higher engine mode. Whoa, Aaron is falling backwards right now. There's so many long straights on this, and we have such a weak engine. It's a miracle I'm even in this thing at all right now. Front straight, front straight. Definitely the time to use the ERS, though Quinn had very little in reserve there. We have to at least maintain our spot. Aaron is in 9th. It is lap 9. Okay, that sun's going to pop out here pretty soon. Let's speed up a little bit. I don't have any ERS for this lap, so that's okay. We're going to hold. Nobody pit. Everybody's still on just one pit stop. And the rain is beginning to let up. already. And it's going to happen pretty quick. Here we go. Anybody pitting this time? Quinn picked up a little pace there. And yes, some cars are coming into pit already. Even though the track is still fully soaked. It's going to take a little while to dry out. I want to kind of wait at least through this next lap. And then we might pit. Those cars that are going on to the softs right now, it's a long ways to go to the end of the race. And they're going to lose a ton of time right now. As the pace is just not going to be in those tires. We are definitely on wets right now, still, as we should be. So we're going to run at least one more lap. Errant, here's a good time to use some speed. Quinn, same thing. Look at how fast they are pulling away. That ERS on that front stretch, it has a huge impact. Alright, so we're running 9th and 12th right now, but a number of cars have pit. But again, on those wrong tires, what a difference that would make out there. Okay, Quinn doesn't have the fuel to make it another lap, so Quinn's got to come in this time. So let's run whatever we have left on those tires. And I think I can get one more lap for Errant. Quinn, I don't know if we're going to make it all the way to the end. Oh, but really, both cars should be pitting in this lap. Just because of the track conditions. Alright? Yeah. We're going to be down to damp here pretty soon. So, both cars need to come in, which means we need to run hard the rest of the lap. And then Errant is going to use the little bit of ERS she's got saved up to see if we can't get a little bit of a gap between the two cars. And we need mediums to get to the end of the race. And we need that full. That's not enough. We might not make it till the end of the race. We need a fast pit stop. We're going to take the risk. We need to save that few seconds for Quinn to not get held up too bad. And then Quinn. We need to set for the end of the race. Car condition is good on both cars. We'll go with balanced. Hopefully Quinn doesn't get held up too much. We'll watch Quinn and see how long the wait is. With Errant coming in now. And look at that, every car's coming in that hadn't already. Alright, there's Errant, Jax, tire change, and Quinn is waiting. Quinn is waiting. Quinn is still waiting. And finally Quinn gets started. So definitely 4 or 5 seconds lost for Quinn, waiting for Errant's pit stop to finish. But here is Errant back out on the track. We need to conserve some fuel. We've got ways to go yet. I think both cars can make it to the end. I forgot to do the ERS there for Errant. 8 laps remaining, and we have about 8.5. So we're going to have to save just that little bit of fuel to get to the end. Right now, after the pit stops, Errant is 11th, Quinn is 12th, and here on the front stretch, a couple cars are flying by. There we go, Errant right at the line, 7.93 laps. So we're going to have to save just that little bit of fuel, but I think both cars will make it to the end. Errant did drop a couple places there, saving the ERS up. We'll go with it this next lap, though. Oh, 2 more cars coming up on us, though. So it looks like we might just be fighting to get those spots back. Speed is definitely a factor out here today. We are strongest in the field in braking now. There you go. Aaron gets 1 spot back, gets 2 spots back, and flies back up. But yeah, it did not close in on Ericsson. We're going to need to check this next lap again to see where we're at on that fuel burn on both cars. Aaron does drop back a couple spots again, slipping back to 15th. No ERS to speak of. So Quinn, who's not in last, thankfully, but oh, look at all these cars that are going to have to stop. They are not going to make it to the end of this race. The ones on mediums might. So that could bump us all the way to like 6th and 8th or 7th and 8th by the end of this thing. All right, go Quinn, go Quinn, go Quinn. All right, now it's saying excess fuel. Interesting. I don't know about that. It says excess fuel though. 5 laps remaining, but we still have way over 5 laps to go. The cars themselves. The leader has 5 laps to go. We still have 5 plus. Okay, using ERS, and let's check in on Errant right now at the line. 5.08. So we do have enough fuel now to make it to the end without slowing things down. But I don't have excess like it says. Not sure why it says that. Let's check in on Quinn as Quinn crosses the line here. Quinn just barely in 19th here. Just barely squeaking ahead. There we go. 5.08. Same thing. All right. So both cars are going to make it to the end. While all of these cars around us, even though they are faster right now, they're running on the softs, so we're running on the mediums. They're not going to make it. They are not going to make it to the end. And we are. We've got just enough fuel to get to the end of this race, and the tires are holding up nicely. Those softs are not going to make it. Look at them. I mean, Martin already is down to about 25% there in 18th. Martin's going to have to pit pretty much now. And yes, Martin is into the pits. We're going to pick up all sorts of time. Here comes Quinn into 19th. Martin's still in the pits. Martin's not still in the pits, a lap down now. I don't think Martin's going to get past. Yeah, Martin's still there fixing parts. Oh, that's Lot. Martin didn't pit. It was Lot. Lot had some issues when it came to parts on the car. Calderon is set to pit this time. So here you go. We are picking up some places due to pit stop strategy. So we lost. We've definitely lost something when it came to performance, and we slipped back further and further to the other cars, but only slightly. And now they're losing tons of time by going in for pits. So that's 4 cars now that have had to pit. And the thing is, Quinn's the back marker, so we're going to keep an eye on Quinn. Errant is just ahead in 15th, but a lot closer to the field and a lot more cars right now. Errant, here's your chance to burst past a bunch of cars here. And yes, every single one of them is behind Errant right now. What about Quinn? Quinn, you are on that front stretch. Let's use that ERS, see if we can't get you ahead of a bunch of cars. And the field is caught between you, so Quinn was far enough back that Quinn did not benefit. But leaders on to the final lap. We are not in danger of being lapped. No, we're okay there. Now the only thing is having enough fuel to get to the end, and Errant is about to pass the line right now. There we go, 1.26 laps. So we can actually turn up the engine mode here late on. 39%. I don't want to quite run that out just yet. Okay, now let's step it up. Errant is onto the backstretch. Quinn. Let's go, Quinn. Step it up, step it up. to the end. Okay, ERS for Quinn just got used up, trying to hold 13th. Errant is in 6th. 6th place for Errant. Coming on the front stretch now. We got somebody right on our tail, Bassani, who is a lot faster, but we have the ERS. Oh, we got held up, could not make the pass, and we are getting flown by, but 7th place. Not bad, not bad. So Errant could not make the pass. And Quinn also passed right on the line, but 7th and 14th, best finishes yet. Errant had 2 cars with fresh tires, 2 cars that had to stop, that we were able to get past. Quinn, meanwhile, came out in the middle of those cars, and they were a lot faster, so Quinn wasn't going anywhere. But Errant with a solid finish. Thanks to our pit stop strategy, we end up with some decent points on this race. The car is beginning to get a little bit competitive. However, it is not natural competitiveness. This is all down to pit stop strategy. Look here on how we compare to everyone else. The cars that pitted when we did and remained out, the only ones we finished in front of, Delatraz and Chicaro. Oh no, just Delatraz. Delatraz was the only one who stayed out that was on the softs, along with Haverberg. And the both of them lost a lot of pace, and Aquino, and these are the best cars. So they probably have the best tire wear, and they just made it to the end. Delatraz lost a ton of time at the end, stretching out that one more lap before they had to pit. All these other cars pit with 2 or 3 left to go, and that moved us way up in the standings. So solid 7th, 14th place finishes. You can see the real difference between Errant and Quinn. Between the two of them, they ran essentially the same strategy. Quinn did lose probably 5 seconds, and that 5 seconds would have moved Quinn up a few more places. But you look at the gap, 5 seconds. So Quinn might have finished about 12th, thanks to having to wait for Errant to clear the pit before Quinn could pull in. That was about 5 seconds lost, but the time to wait another lap would have been far different and had a much bigger impact than 5 seconds lost. So being on target, we do pick up the sponsor objective. We add 800,000 to our coffers, and you'll see that through sponsorships, things are also a little bit different right now. And when we get to, wow, nobody had penalties today and no DNFs. Surprising. Especially after the last race with multiple DNFs. After 6 rounds, oh, look at that. Okay, so we have left Arthur Pick in the dust. Alex Quinn has slid right on up, just 4 points behind Joel Eriksson now. And Errant, who has only raced, 3 races now? Compared to Arthur Pick's 3 races. So they've split half the season so far. And between the two of them, that car has earned 49 points, which would be 14th if I had the same driver all the way through. But look at that. Errant has 36 compared to Pick's 13. So our factory has really had an impact, and the finances have really had an impact to get some better parts on the car. And it's starting to show. We're still in the bottom, but the car is performing a lot better. So I'm liking our chances these last few races to pick up some points, maybe move up a little further in the standings, and looks good. You know, I was planning on only doing, there's 3 races left. I was planning on doing 2 races off camera and then just showing the final race of the season, but we're starting to get a little bit competitive. So I might just skip the next race and do that one off camera and then show you the final 2 races over the next couple of episodes, because we might be able to shake things up a little bit and not just squeeze into the top 10 thanks to some race tactics, but we might actually be able to race for it. And look at that. We are just out of not just ninth, but maybe even 8th place. And if things go our way, we could finish as high as 6th this season, as we are only 19 points back at this point, with 3 races left to go. Plenty of time to get there, but I can't get too optimistic. Both of the last 2 races, and you just saw this one, tactics really played a role with the wet weather, and we gained 6 to 8 places because of putting the right tires on at the right time when others did not. They were forced to pit, or they really slowed down at the end of the race, and only a handful of cars played it right. So, and really that can be said of the previous race as well, even though that was done off camera. So we're not suddenly out racing these cars, but the car is a little more competitive, and the pit stop strategies are beginning to play a role, and we are picking up some points. So it's about time. I was thinking I was still 2 years away from competing, being competitive at this level. But I'm starting to think we might just be able to see ourselves at least be competitive next year. Maybe not win, but finish in the top 4 or 5, and then the next year go up. So 7th and 14th, excellent day. New unlock, what did we get? Ooh, tire changes, nice. 50% bonus. That's huge. Aaron's morale is almost up to 100% now. Chairman happiness is 100%, and marketability is flying right now when it had really been at like 0 just a couple seasons ago. And here is the biggest difference. We are now positive. Instead of losing $1 million a race, we signed a couple new sponsors again after this last race. That came with some pretty hefty bonuses compared to what they were replacing, to where we were in the green by about $450,000 a race, enough so where I was actually able to bump up the expenses for next year's car. I changed it from a low investment to a medium investment, which was giving us a balance of $52,000 a race. But thanks to our $800,000 bonus we just picked up for finishing in the top 10, we just picked up almost $1 million. Bringing us back up over $21 million. And meanwhile, in the Formula One Championship, Valtteri Bottas has been strong here recently. Last you saw, I think Russell was still ahead, but now it is Bottas and stretching that lead. In fact, Russell hadn't had a top 3 in a while before this race. Meanwhile, it is so far back. Ferrari and Red Bull are tight, though, just 7 points off each other. But it looks like Mercedes will easily win the Constructors this year in the Formula One Series. Toro Rosso is they're starting to show their mettle. Pretty solid in 4th. Force India in 5th. Renault 6th. The surprise here is Prima is up above McLaren, and now Haas. McLaren just moved ahead of Haas in this race, and the reason for this, here's Prima, only 2 points for Fuoco, but here's the explanation. Where is he? 11th place. Fernando Alonso has switched over to Prima Power Team. 31 points for the lead driver there. So that is what's keeping Prima above the Haas and McLaren teams. Meanwhile, in Formula 2, this is us, categorized as GP3 in this mod, European Racing Series, in the vanilla. We are moving up. Exciting stuff. All right, we'll take a look at one more quick thing before I wrap things up for this episode. Sponsorship-wise, we actually just took a dip. That's because we have a sponsorship that just expired. We have 2 more about to expire after this. This Boss one was a big pickup. Fixed pay per race is 1.25 million. We had a nearly 4 million upfront payment bonus, and that was a 4-star. And we, in the previous race, we had also picked up DHL with 500,000 a race, 3.5 mil up front. That's only a 2-star. And then we had Epson as well. So those have all changed over. But we have 1 more slot open now. So hopefully we can pick up a nice sponsorship there as well. Let's see, we have 2 more slots here. Fill those real quick. And we'll check the mail. My pit crew continues to get slightly better. Ooh, and Delatraz was the fastest car, so see that pit stop strategy dropped them all the way in between my 2 cars. Scouting, average, low quality. We have a suspension part done, so I'll be checking that out. Oh, and look at that pit blunder. Hands Pascal Verline hands their win to Aquino. See, pits matter a lot. And we did have 1 mistake in that, but you can see our pit crew, it's looking better. It's still 7th on the grid, but let's see if we have anybody decent available this time. There's an 8-7, but only a 72 stamina. You've got a 95 stamina, but you do nothing for us. So once again, we are kind of left with a bunch of nobodies. I should get these all rejected so that I can get some new ones available coming up soon. So we can leave this one. I just don't like that stamina. Alright, well, crew's looking better. Carter Vickers needs to get out of there because 36 stamina. They had 1 mistake, only our 2nd mistake of the season. So team's looking good on that front. And 3 races to go, 21 million in the bank. Car's looking good. We're going to add another part in soon, and we'll go from there. So I'll see you in probably a couple of races from now, if not the final race of the season. But that does it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my road to the record. Bye for now.